this is a show when we ask, what is good hair? And our response is, good hair is healthy hair. But we know that we have a lot going on in our community, so we are going to be looking at different things, different questions. We're going to talk about natural hair. Why are we having a struggle with natural hair? What are the struggles, some of the struggles that we do have? So we're going to have a good conversation about hair today. So Hair Ye comes from the spinoff is Hear Ye. We got something to say, but at the end of the day, you are the judge and you are the jury of your hair, because good hair is healthy hair, okay? Don't get it twisted, but you can't get it locked. All right, today let's start by introducing our panel. Will introduce themselves, and we're gonna just kind of go down and give you a little flavor of the people that we have hanging out with us today.
Peace and blessings. My name is Tara Jones. I'm the founder of TF Consulting, where we change minds, bodies, and pocketbooks. And I am also the founder of Chester Cultural Arts and Technology Center. And today I am here to talk a little bit about our Babes program, because they focus on girls and women. And we have a lot of things we talk about, and again, natural hair is one of those things. We talk about beauty, we talk about, you know, what is academically correct, you know, we talk about miseducation. So today, I'm basically here in lieu of them, and hopefully this will help them understand that Miss Tara is not the only one who talks about natural hair, who talks about natural beauty, but they see a panel of other women and gentlemen and hear that this is not just my struggle, this is not just their struggle. This struggle is real, and I'm hoping that it can become easier as we let them know that it's okay for your natural hair to just be. And it's okay for you to have strong, healthy hair. You know, different styles, we come in different colors, we all know that, but I'm hoping that they are more free to talk about it, and, you know, to experience their hair stories.
Yes. Well, I am Ellie Logan. I am the visionary and founder of the Phenomenal Women's Network. We are an all-inclusive network for women from all walks of life, and the mission is to empower, to uplift, to inspire, and transform the lives of women. Why did I begin that journey? Why? Wow. I began as a single mother, going to school for the first time. I'm also an artist, but I had to really buckle down as a mom to handle business, to, you know, upgrade my career, so to speak. And after going through all those different channels and graduating from college, I realized, okay, I haven't been out performing, I haven't been bonding with my sisters, so I had a really strong need for sisterhood. That's really how it all began. And I sat at my table, and I was just kind of, you know, in our silence, we're connecting with the Creator. And I remember thinking, I really need my sisters. I mean, I have one here, I have another here, but we hadn't been connecting during that time. And so all of a sudden, I got the vision of Phenomenal Women Network. And I remember thinking, God, I didn't ask you for all that, you know, because it was just so big. But they say if the vision doesn't scare you, then it's not big enough. Yeah, it's not big enough. So 10 years ago, that's when we began the journey. And honestly, I'm just so blessed that Tara and Amanda have been a part of that journey for over 10 years. And we're still growing. It still feels like we started yesterday. I'm excited about being here because hair is a part of our journey. All women, all brothers too, right? But we deal with the women. And so I'm just excited to be here to see what I can share or bring to the conversation, as well as what I can learn today.
Yes. Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Stacy Lloyd, aka Stacy Goldmind, and I am the president and founder of Goldmind Consultants. And people are always asking, what is a Goldmind Consultant? We are transformative thinking professionals. What we do is assist people with transforming the way they think and the way they live. And the reason why I decided to start Goldmind Consultants is basically, it had a lot to do with my journey, you know, coming from a domestic household and being homeless at 15, just facing a lot of obstacles. And what I had to do was learn how to learn. And once I discovered how to learn, I wanted to teach people, specifically children, not what to learn, but how we learn. So my primary focus is on brain and emotional intelligence, how the brain works and how it connects to our emotions. So, and specifically as it relates to hair, this is a very important topic because a lot of times as I was growing up, I was focused more on the outside than the inside. And so just making that transformation, wondering how people would view me from externally, not understanding what I had dealt with internally. So talking about hair is one thing, but connecting it to who we are internally is another. So I'm definitely excited about sharing this panel today, having a discussion for those of you who are gonna listen, and hopefully we'll all take something away today. So I'm happy.
Awesome.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Lavar Gold. I am a creative director, artist, but I am an entrepreneur of Splash of Positivity. Splash of Positivity is not only a brand and sports apparel, it's a lifestyle that helps people get through mental health. And the reason I started this is because of my issues. When I was younger, I went through a lot of mental health issues, and Splash of Positivity verbatim gives my experience to those who relate to me and those who don't relate to me, and pretty much help them get through it the way I went through it. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to represent them.
Also, listen, this day, it's been a long time coming. I've been planning this, but last year through a wrench, and everybody's planning, but we are here today, and I'm super excited about the conversation that is going to take place. And I want us to talk about the real deal, to get down into that deep conversation. But I also want us to talk about community and the village and the people that come together and the people that a circle matters. Your circle does matter. So Lavar, we actually were having a meeting, and he was recommended. I said, somebody recommended, said, we need a brother on the panel. I was like, my brother probably ain't gonna wanna be on the panel. I said, my brother Michael, he ain't gonna wanna be on the panel. So I said, all right, any suggestions? And you came recommended.
Yes.
And so I thank you for coming. So I appreciate that. My sister Stacy, we have known each other. We actually were on a radio show together.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, just the conversation and the energy that she presented on there, I was like, hey, how you doing? Can I get your number? Had to roll up on her sister, like, no, we got to stay connected, because that was a time that I was really like, no, you got positive energy? No, we need to be connected, because it matters, because you got so much stuff going on around you every single day. And to get that phone call from that person, or to have that person come by or just talk to them, will change your day. And sometimes you just got to have people in your life that will come and get, come on, get back on track, get back over there. So these two ladies over here, they have always called them sisters. And every now and then I would get squeezed in with Miss LC. They'd be like, oh, you a sister? In energy, we sisters. But I went to school with both of them. She sings, and she is her heart is kind. She took me on the road she had a tour she was doing one time with her, and I was so grateful. I was like, I'm gonna sing. And she took me with her because she was performing at a lot of different places. And I will never forget that. She's like, you coming tomorrow? I was like, you want me to come tomorrow? You sure you want me to come tomorrow? Tonight wasn't a really good night for me. You really want me to come back tomorrow? She was like, yeah, come on. And I had so much fun. Wow. And if you could see it in her face, she was like, yeah, why not? I'm looking like, okay, all right, it was like so. But that was one of the things that I wanted to do. And you took me on that journey, and it was just like, no, come on, let's go. And your heart was just so when Phenomenal Women, I was like, that's just you. So her organization, she has a heart for people, but she knows there's a need for women. So she started that organization, and I have to say this. There was one time we had an event, and it was in Delaware, and I was having a bad day at work. It was just a bad day. And what kept me going through, it's like, when I get with Lakeisha, we gonna have chocolate covered strawberries, and we gonna have mimosas, and we gonna buy some earrings and some drinks, because at her events, that's all the stuff that going on. We had massages one time. She had an event, she had an event. And every time something happened, I'm gonna have some chocolate covered strawberries. Look, I'm pouting her.
You forgot some stuff,
forget that day because I was having the worst day.
Yeah,
and
I
then
remember
what got
you
me
telling me.
through it, I'm gonna have some chocolate strawberries tonight. That's all. Every time something bad happens, that's all I kept thinking about. So I just bless God for your vision. Now let's go on down here, Miss Tara. Now, Miss Tara, I said I could not. Well, both of them, I knew they have had natural hair for a long time. But as long as I can remember, Tara has had natural hair. I said I can't have a natural hair show without somebody coming that all the time that I've known them have always rocked their natural hair. And I don't know how many feet she done cut, because it'd probably be a carpet for her if she didn't cut it. But I met her and we was in high school together, but in the plays. I'm telling you. If she wasn't sitting here right now on the path, she would probably be on Broadway somewhere.
Yeah.
She gonna be modest, and I ain't even gonna look over there at her because I'm just gonna say, when I think about the plays that we were in, her last year was Pearly, I believe. I feel like giving her another standing ovation just by thinking about how she sang. And that's about 4 A's. She is a singer. She has a passion for people. She does youth. She works. She started a community center in the city of Chester, not only for the young people, but for the community. So I'm just letting y'all know the type of positive energy. I did all that to show you what type of positive energy that we're gonna have today. So even though we may have the deep conversations, it's coming from love. These are the conversations we need to have. We need to talk about. But your circle matters. You gotta have people in your circle that's gonna lift you up, bring you up, because life will beat you down, and that's just life. Life has speed bumps. Okay, you can either roll over them real fast and mess up the undercarriage, or slow down. Slow down. Okay, we got a speed bump, and that's kind of how you got to deal with life. Speed bumps come, go through a park. It's for safety. But we got to think about that. So we are getting ready to get started into this show. Hair ye, hair ye. You are the judge and the jury of your hair. So today we are going to actually start off. We're going to be seeing some videos from YouTube. You will not see the videos on this video, but we will put the links at the end of the video. So if you would like to go and see them, you can actually do that at that time. So we'll put the links to the videos that we're going to see at the end, but we will watch a video, have conversation, and we will have some presentations about things that we think about, that we think we know about hair, that we may not know about hair. But we're going to talk about some of those things too. So let's actually get into our first video, and we'll be right back. It does its job now, I tell you that.
They say even apple cider vinegar, use it on your face as an astringent. Kim, I need to get my nails done too. Look at that.
Me too, sugar.
Look at that. Being natural, I think it can be healthier as long as you keep the maintenance and everything up on it. I think you have great health benefits when you're actually natural.
I think the benefits of being natural is you can have more of a diverse styling. You can wear your hair in its natural state. You can wear box braids. You can wear faux locks, braids, straight back, any type of style.
Cosmos? Because I'm a sweater, if I decide to do a flat iron style, you know, just have it straightened, as soon as I sweat, my hairdo is gone. And so it's like you kind of put, you know, pay the money to get a nice style, and then within the next day or two, you're pulling it back because it has sweated out.
I told you we don't really talk.
Yeah, because I be enjoying this like pampering to me, Josh.
Some of the struggles of having natural hair is maintaining moisture. And with blow drying and flat ironing your hair, dealing with the heat and humidity, it'll poof right back up and ruin your style.
But when you think along of the perm scents, you know, you think about the chemicals that's applied. It says on your hair, but it actually goes into your scalp as well.
It's okay though.
Being natural is awesome and is great. And I encourage as many as us African American women, queens, to go natural, you know, because it's going to be worth it in the end. Yeah, I can deal with that.
Hi, my name is Tasia Rice, and I'm super excited to be a part of this event today, Hair Ye, Hair Ye. And so we're going to get right into the topic. You know, for the love of hair, we all have hair, we just need to know what we need to do with it, right? And so for my topics today, the first one we're going to be talking about is perm versus relaxed, right? What does that mean? A lot of us, you know, have been using it over the years, but what are the specific differences, right? So the first one we're going to be talking about is a perm, right? A lot of us use it. Unfortunately, we've been using it wrong for some people. So perm actually creates the curls, right? And so just to give you some history, so the perm was created in 1905 by Carl Ludwig Nessler. Very, you know, harmful chemicals then. You needed high heat to use it. It would, you had to sit under, you know, something for hours, you know, hours on hours. Now that, you know, we got things going on, we can't sit under the heat, you know, the curling iron for hours. You can't do that, right? And so, and it was for permanent. They wanted to make it permanent. And so it was, you know, very harmful. It would burn hair. And so now, of course, you know, things have transitioned. And in the late 1930s, things developed, right? They developed no heat, low heat, things in that nature. Right, and so this is kind of what you'll get after using a perm. You'll sit, you know, put the perm in, sit under a low heat dryer for a little bit, put the curls in, and it comes out looking, you know, bouncy and nice. And if that is what you want to use, that's what you need to use, but you need to make sure that you take care of it, right? So using the proper oils, using the proper conditioner, shampoo, all that great stuff, in which your hair needs, right? So that's the first one, perm. The second one be relaxed. Right, so when it comes up, you'll see, you know, from whatever you have, curly, whatever the case may be, to straight. That's what the relaxer is supposed to do. So, as we know, as we all should know, and if you don't, search her up, but Madam C.J. Walker, right, she was one of the people within our industry, the women within our industry, to help kind of that process of what they say, making it easier, quote unquote, to manage the hair, right? So she actually created the straight comb in 1905, which was also at the same time as the perm, so there was a lot going on within the hair industry and just in general. And she created that as far as the pomade as well, right? So to be able to use that in order to straighten the hair, to make it straight, if that is what you so choose, right? We always have the choice. And so in the early 70s, a lot of companies started to get onto that track, right? That trend of hair, wanting to get in the industry, wanting to work with the industry. And of course, we all know that our hair works differently. And so for the early companies in the 70s, they wanted to make it more permanent. So instead of being temporary, which it was, they wanted to make that transition more permanent as well. So they started knocking a lot of C.J. Madam Walker's progress, but as we know, we always bounce back. And so within the late 70s, there's been many companies like Revlon, Johnson, that also got into the game as well, as far as straightening. And so now we have a lot of companies that are doing a lot of these things with perms, and so we know that we also need to make sure that we can take care of our hair as well. Know how to manage that, know how to get the conditioner, get the shampoo that you need, all the moisturizer that you need for your hair, because a lot of perms tend to cause damage if you don't take care of it properly, right? So you have loss of elasticity, which we'll be talking about a little bit later as well, porosity, which we'll also be talking about later as well, swelling, and then a lot of other things that could happen if you don't take care of your hair properly when it comes to using perms or relaxers. All right, and so those are the two types, and those are the differences when it comes to those type of hairstyles that you want to use. And so the next thing we're going to talk about as well is protective hairstyles. And so as far as protective hairstyles go, there's so many, right? I couldn't put them all on the PowerPoint because there are so many, right? We can do so much with our hair. We can be creative, and we can have styles that actually help our hair grow, protect it when it comes to certain weather conditions, right? When it's in colder weather, things like breakage can tend to happen. And so these are a few of hairstyles that you can do and can have. They have lemonade braids here, wigs, frontals, lace fronts, all the differences. And if you don't know, Google is your best friend, right? Or your friends and family. And then also individuals, the infamous, and then the butterfly braids, and then also locks as well. And so there's so many types of protective styles that you can have in order to be creative, protect your hair, and look beautiful at the same time. So these are the type of styles and transitions, such as perms and relaxers, that we have seen throughout the years that we can use in order to be creative and be ourselves.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Perm versus relaxer. I've been saying it wrong. But it was, I was doing it, so I can call it whatever I wanted to call it. Who's going to correct me? I'm going to get a perm. I'm going to put it in my hair. Nobody's there to just say, no, that's not a perm. But I had a Jerry curl, and now I'm mad because God gave me a natural Jerry curl, and I didn't even know it.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Listen. Okay, so we actually, thank you, Tasia, for that presentation. Perm versus relaxer and protective styles.
Yes.
So we actually just watched a video that was presented by Dove to focus on their Crown Act, where from at this point they only had about 13 states that were willing to stop discriminating. Kind of confused about that. Why everybody would not, let's not discriminate. It's not a good thing to do. So we're going to actually just have this conversation. So panelists, has there been a time that you were aware of a discrimination or heard of a discrimination? Just kind of share your thoughts about the whole movement of what Dove is doing with the Crown Act to stop discrimination. And in the video, they actually talked about the little girl who was told that you can't come to school and learn because you have braids. So braids is on the outside, brain is on the inside. We're working on the brain, so I'm not sure what the outside has to do with the inside, but it's an issue. So we were going to hear from our panels about discrimination.
I personally have not experienced that part of discrimination, like in the workplace. So I haven't, but I've heard about it, and to an extent, I understand their need for us to look like them, because it doesn't make us as powerful, right? So when you look at America historically, they took away our language, they took away our culture, they took away our ways of living, they took away our hair, they took away everything. So when we finally are at the point where we're like, no, we need everything back. I think that just reminds them of the power that they've taken away from us. And that's one of the ways that they continue to have power over us. And, to see the afros, to see the crowns, that to me is almighty Africa, showing her face, showing her power. So I believe that those that are in power here in America, that's one way for them to continue, their way. And we, again, I think that's one of those things where we're saying, this is us. This is our power, this is our glory. And so I love the fact that we're doing it, but I hate the fact that we have to. It's just like, Lord have mercy. Enough is enough. But it is what it is. We actually have to go to Congress and get acts in order to wear our hair a certain kind of way. So, for me, I can go hours about how that irritates me. But, it is what it is. For me, I just think it's also a part of the power that they try and keep over us.
She hit the nail on the head. And I'm kind of glad you went first, because I'm sitting here like my blood is boiling about it, but we know that there's a deeper, the root of that is fear and hatred. So I'm just going to stop as far as that part. But we have to continue to fight for who we are, and that's why it's important for us to understand our history and to teach our children from day one, you know, because this ugliness will happen. It's not going to go away, and they have to know how to fight, and they have to know, you know, exactly how to fight, because then that becomes something else too, right? So it can't always be with the fist. They have to be strong in the mind, and we have to continue to affirm who our babies are in this world. When it comes to hair, especially with the girls, if you want to wear your hair straight, fine. You know, if you want to lock it, fine. And I'm just proud of them. I'm proud to see that we're starting to see more of that. Our girls embracing, and boys embracing who they are in this world and being unapologetic for it. It is, I don't even have the words to express when we see a child crying on the screen because they're simply going to school trying to get an education. The one girl had extensions. It's like you can't win for losing, right? I wear my braids, it's a problem. I wear extensions, I need a doctor's note. Did I hear her say that?
Braids, yeah, doctor's note for
So y'all know how I feel about my babies. I haven't worked with children in a long time, but you know, but we just have to continue. When I see that, I get angry, but it just lets us know we, the village, have so much work to do.
I mean, I might come from a different perspective. I've never been discriminated against with hair, and never have I heard of anybody in my immediate circle. Mm-hmm. But I think it's even how we see each other with hair. Mm-hmm. Growing up, we had natural hair for a long time, very long and healthy. And then everybody kept telling my mother, you need to put a perm in those kids' head. And my mother started putting a perm, and she always said that was the worst thing she ever did. And but I just remember going to school with kids who didn't have perms, and those were the kids that got bullied the most from other kids. I mean, some of their parents didn't do their hair or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, look at your nappy head. Just look at your nappy head. And they didn't even enter the workplace yet, but you already, kids have already created that stigma. They already created that stigma. So sometimes we're our own worst enemy, because I'm trying to figure out where kids learn it from. That's learned. I've never done that to a kid. Growing up, I have never, and I never remember my sisters doing it, but I remember hearing it. Those were the kids that were my friends. I'm like, no, you're gonna be my friend. I was just that kid, but I'm just saying we did it to each other. And when I first went natural, it was black females that were like, I can't believe you cut all your hair, your pretty hair off. And I'm like, I don't like your hair like that. I don't care what you like. It's not about you. But they were the ones honestly telling me, I liked your hair better when it was long. Well, you could have it. It's right there. I just cut it off. You can have it. You know, I don't want it. You could have it. So that's just a different spin. Where is it learned? Because can we say that other people taught us that, or we accepted it and started doing it to each other? So we got to be better. So that way when we go into the workforce, because if it's starting in our community, when we go out into the workforce, Phil, I don't care what you say. I don't even know what you're talking. That doesn't even make sense in my mind. But now it makes sense because I grew up in a culture where this just didn't look right. So mine is just a different perspective. Don't care.
As for the the Crown Act and the cause, the Queens did nail it on the head, and it is disturbing that it disturbs certain people, especially in a professional field. But I personally feel like it's a hatred of what we can do and what you can't do. Your hair can't defy gravity like ours. Your hair can't lock perfectly like ours. So it's like, it's just something that they can't do that they're trying to get rid of, and that's how I see it. So to answer your other part of your question, I've never been negatively discriminated against because of my hair. I've always had hair. It was a short afro, but now that I have twists and do braided styles, I've gotten complimented from all types of people.
I just told him last week when I saw him.
I used to work at Olive Garden, and there was a table that I was waiting, a Caucasian lady. She said, I really like your hairstyle. And then she said, yeah, I wanted to do that with my son. Then she had to remind me that he's mixed. He's a mixed child. I said, okay. Well, I took it as like, thank you, you know what I mean? But that's just my opinion on it. It's just something that a lot of people can't do. So if we continue to embrace it, continue to show it off, wear our crowns, we forever be empowered.
That's right.
Yes! Love it. And a different spin, see, that's what I was talking about. The different spin, the different energy, but it's all positive, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
So I know for me, I struggled. And I know what pushed me to go natural. See, these ladies have been natural for a long. How long have you been natural? You can't even think, right? I can't even remember, and I know her since high school.
Like 20.
Yeah.
I wasn't natural in high school.
But
I just wore braids a lot in high school.
Gotcha.
I wore braids a lot in high school, but I didn't go natural till maybe about 20 something years ago, maybe.
All right. How long, Kissy?
Count?
She was my inspiration once I met Tara, because I went through that whole journey of being teased I had longer, thick hair when I was a little girl. So my mom kept it well. And then when I started the processing and it fell out, then that's when I went through it. Like the little girls in the neighborhood that were jealous, all of a sudden they were like, yeah, she don't have no hair now. You know, so it was crazy. So you kind of tapped into me when you said that. It started way back then. But as far as, and so you go through this whole journey as a girl, the chemicals, it's a nightmare when I think about it, because I didn't know how to have healthy hair. Had I figured out healthy hair, I probably would have never gone natural. It maybe not, you know, because that was a popular thing to do, was to relax your hair. Thank you for that information. But when I met her, I had heard so much about this fierce, dynamic person that I couldn't wait to meet her. And I finally met, but I don't think we really met until after high school.
We knew each other in high school.
We knew of each other, whatever.
But we really started hanging out.
And she was like so bold. She was like, she empowered me, because I wasn't more quiet and all that stuff. But
I'm not quiet.
She's not quiet. Now I'm not really. But she empowered me. So I mean, it's been over on and off with me. It's been I'll say about 15 years. But she empowered me, and we went through phases. We did the afros. Like literally, I remember one night we went out and we just both had these afros. Like we did the whole nine. I processed in between there. I don't think she ever went backwards. I did. I went through all kind of changes. When we're going through changes, we take it out on our hair a lot of times. So then that's happened to what you do, as far as the mental health aspect of it, seriously, you know. And then I finally got it together, and I said, I'm just sick of this, and that's why I locked it. I just really wanted to be done with, and I've cut it shorter or whatever, but I kept it locked.
And I love it. And Stacey has already touched, both of y'all touched on the journey a little bit. So I know for me, April is 2 years for me.
Wow.
But I actually decided not to perm my hair probably about 3 or 4 years prior to that, and I was just wearing sew-ins and I was wearing braids just to get enough to grow so I wouldn't have no hair when I did the chop. So, and then one day I'm like, you know what?
That's what it's like.
All right, I'm calling. I'm going to make this appointment. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the chop, because listen, do not get it twisted. I love my bob.
Yes.
I had my little salt and pepper going on. Listen, you couldn't tell me nothing. And I think that was one of my struggles, is that there were so many times I'm like, oh my God, my hair is the bomb. Look at that. And when I went natural, I didn't say that. And I struggled with that. And I'm struggling like, okay, why am I not comfortable with this?
What is that?
It's only hair. Why is this such a struggle? And my poor husband, he was so sweet. He's like, you all right? It's on you. I was like, you not saying that.
You need that.
I'm in the background like, cut it down here. Take me right here. Because my husband come and shake me. Give me some points. I struggle. And I actually was looking at some videos, and the one lady said, you have to be mindful. You're not used to that image. So you immediately reject it. And it's just that you're not used to it. This is brand new. So for you not to like it is not a bad thing. It's just that it's new to you. How many times we get an outfit like, this all right, let me put a belt on. All right, that's it. That's what it needed. And you know, and it took me a minute, so that's what made me really want to do this, because I had no clue. Every time I find somebody, what you got in your hair? What you got in your hair? What you using?
What you using?
I was Inspector Gadget. Anybody with natural hair, I'm like, what you got in there?
Yeah.
What kind of shampoo you using? What kind of cream you using? Because I had no clue. And that's why I said, you know what, when I get a chance, I'm going to do a hair show. And we're going to talk. Yeah. We're going to have some conversation, because I know that for a fact, like every time I go get my hair, I started using the blowouts that, went to the Dominicans and let them press it, you know, that heat. And I was like, 2 days. I'm like,
exactly.
2 days.
Exactly.
I was so mad, and then it started thinning. I was like, okay, we can't do this no more. And that's when I really, because it was for my hair's sake, that I said, let me just go ahead and go back to Africa with my hair, and now I love it. I love it, but I struggled with it, and it's a mindset thing. That's why we have to have this conversation today, because it is okay to go back. And when I went in, you know, to work, I was like, ooh,
what you doing?
What did you do to your hair? I'm like, well, technically you should have asked me yesterday, what did I do to my hair? Because today I did nothing. But yesterday I had a lot going on that I did to my hair before I came to work. But today I just washed and went.
That was good.
So in reality, today I did nothing. So you really kind of got it backwards and asked me what did I do. No, you should have asked me that last week. What did I do? Okay, I went and I sat for her. She braided it up. After she braided it up, that took about an hour. Then she sewed it in. That took about 3 hours. Then she curled it. So that's what you should have asked. That's when you should have been answering that question. But right now, that's not the question. But everybody was like, you know what? I liked it the way it was before. I'm like, all right, bye. Lunch is over. Break is over. Conversation is over. So that didn't help either, because I was already struggling with the image that's new to me. That's the thing. It's new. So sometimes you got to be careful. And it doesn't make it didn't help me, because I always thought that I was going to look like Simba. When I said, okay, I'm going to come out that salon talking about Kuna Matata and thinking about, and that's always in my head. So for me not to like it, like I kind of probably did that to myself, thinking I wasn't going to like it. But the main thing that bothered me, I could look at another person with the same hair, so it's like, oh my gosh, she looks beautiful. And why can I not look in the mirror and say that I look beautiful? So that is really, I was like, nope, I'm sticking with this.
And you wear it so well. I was just so proud of you. I was like, oh my gosh, I see her whole beautiful face. Like,
and you know what? You just brought up a good point too with the face, because I think when you go natural, a lot of times we get our hair curled, we're so focused on the style. It's the style that really does it. But when I did the big chop, I did it maybe about 8 years ago. And because I work out a lot, and I was going to the hair salon twice a week. And I'm asking the beautician, like, what can I do so that I don't have to spend $150 a week to get, well, there's nothing you could do about it. I was like, I keep sweating. And so I did the big chop. And she was probably the worst critic first. Because when she chopped it, she said, now you're going to start looking like a man.
Wow.
And I was like, really, girl, just cut my daggone hair off, right?
She
was just like, I'm about to lose $150 a week. So she was like, you still got to keep your hair up. I said, I'm going to keep my hair up. That was just a turn off. I never went back. Because I was still going to go to her, but she was like, now you're going to start looking like a man.
Because her energy was bad.
So, I mean, I got it cut. And then when I got home, I was like, okay, I got to see how my husband's going to receive it. Because I told him I was going to do it. How do you feel about it? He was like, whatever you do, I don't care. So I went and got it done. And he was like, oh, okay. You know, all right. But my kids were devastated.
Wow.
Oh my God, Mom, why did you get your hair cut that short? No, they were devastated. Grow it back, grow it back. I'm like, I had to cut all the perm out, but when are you gonna go? So then I'm looking at pictures like, okay, how can I make it look more feminine? And now I'm starting to wear like costume jewelry and trying to bring it out, and more makeup and certain glasses. But then I noticed like the structure of my face. I'm like, wow, my face is really long and I got this short hair and now I'm self-conscious. So it looked like everywhere I went, it looked like everybody was looking at the top of my head. I'm like, oh God, everybody's looking at me. Nobody probably was paying me any attention. But like, why are you standing in the middle of the aisle? That's why I'm looking at you. You know,
What's wrong with this lady?
right. And now I'm looking up all these videos to see, okay, how do I get the curl pattern? How do I do this? I'm buying all this product. I'm doing like just begging people, help me with this journey until I was just like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But another thing that made me okay with it is it took a couple people to say, you know what, your hair looked nice. I had to be validated by other people. If I didn't hear it for an extended period of time, I probably would have went back to a perm. But I'm just being honest. It took a couple people to say, wow, like you look really nice. It really brings out your features. Like, thank you.
That would have been me.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, I really like your features. It look nice. So it does. I started like looking in the mirror every 5 minutes, watching what I wear, making sure I have a certain outfit on, because I became self-conscious. But after a while, I'm just like, what? I'm so happy right now. I'm so happy. But just starting that journey was really tough. But, and I wanted to say this before I end, I wanted natural hair since I was 9 years old. When I started seeing like Angela Davis and Foxy Brown, and I'm like, when I get older, I'm gonna wear my hair just like that. I used to be in awe because they looked so powerful, and I'm like, I just thought they were so amazing. I thought they were so amazing. And when I finally did it, it was just like, it took me back to my 9-year-old self. Like, I said I was gonna do this. I said I was gonna do it.
She said, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. But those images of them is what I never forgot. And I said, I want to wear my hair like that one day. And that was it.
I want us to think about, and you think about when you went from the afro to the braids.
Okay.
If you had that type of experience, but I want us to share a like aha moment that you like, this is the way to go. When you finally clicked and it's like, this is good. This is what I like about this hair journey. So I want you to pick one thing that you said, I like this about this hair journey, or I like this about the braids, or I like this about the afro. Something that you liked about it. And I know for me, it was when I was at work and it was raining. Listen, I can shout. Because when you see rain, it's like, I think I'm working another hour overtime because I ain't going out there in that. And I walked out in the rain and I got to my car. I looked in the mirror and my hair did not move.
Come on.
Boss, I was like, I'm a boss. Talk to me. My hair, I'm a boss. You can't walk in the rain and I'm not pulling up to pick you up and I'm not bringing you an umbrella. Walk in the rain.
Come on.
Watch what happened to your hair. Like, I was happy. Listen, girl, on that ride home, I was like, okay, this is how we do.
Yes.
God is good. God knew what he was doing. Listen, and my second one, I don't even think I ever really had that experience until I went natural. When I got in the shower and I let that shower hit the top of my head. Listen, you talk about church? I haven't had that ever. Because you go to the hairdressers, you sit back and you watch it and it run down. That was my experience for years. Or even when you're in the, when I was doing it myself, leaned over. I'm like, what is this?
Yes.
Is this angel singing from it?
Yes.
It felt so good. So that was those two. It's crazy that they both had something to do with water, but
exactly.
They just feeling that water coming from the crown of my head and just flowing all the way down. I had never had that experience before because I never washed my hair in the shower. It's like, shower cap.
Yeah.
Is it tight enough? I don't want no moisture.
Yeah.
That was my aha. So I want y'all to share your aha moments. You've been a while, so that's why I tried to give you a minute to think about it.
Well, I know one time in particular, I had braids in my hair. This was before I started locking. I had braids in my hair, and I was like, can somebody please help me take my braids out? And everybody was like hemming and hawing, and I was like, you know what? All right, I don't need nobody's help.
Right.
In my hair, so I cut the braid out, and I had about this much hair. I just cut them out. I said, y'all, I don't care about this hair. Hair will grow back. It doesn't make a difference. So I had about this much hair. I cut my braids out. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to rock this fro. So that's when I started to rock my afro for the first time. It was short, but then, again, it didn't take very long for my hair to grow, but when it rained, then it shrunk right back down. So, I didn't have that high experience. I had a different experience. My afro was like this, and then it rained, and it was like this. So, I kind of had a different experience there.
Yeah.
But that was one of the moments that I'll never forget when I just cut my braids out, and people were like, did you just cut all your hair off? I was like, yeah. And that was it. So for me, again, I'll never forget that time. My husband was like, wait, what? Because I left home with braids, and then I came home with hair like this. Yeah. But that was me. That was me.
What trick was that?
My hair.
Right.
Yeah,
My
your hair
body.
journey.
Don't play with me. So that was one. And I mean, honestly, just when I go to salons and I see the hot comb and them using a hot comb, that's always a moment. So I don't know how often, that's always a moment that I don't have to get a hot comb to my scalp anymore, because that to me is like, I will never. It's a trigger.
It's a trigger.
I will never ever, because when we talk about our experience, I guess we'll go down the line and talk about our experiences. But for me, one time, one of my friend's mom, she straightened my hair, and she put some Crisco grease on it, and then she, so the Dominicans ain't have nothing on her like that. So I knew Dominican street when I was young. So that's what they used to do. So I used to go, and then I say, you know what? I'm good. I'm still good on my decision. I'm still good on my decision. I don't have to, no hot combs. Yeah, no hot combs. So every time I see that, that's a trigger for me. Wow. I know that's no hot combs. Burning my scalp.
Right.
Yeah.
Leaving scabs. You guys have that? Leaving scabs?
Chicken and you don't be crying me.
Tell me about it. That hot comb, you just took me back to the hot comb. When we were little girls, we didn't have all of you all have
the electric hot combs.
This young lady here knows probably all about that. I don't even know what you call the gadgets, but now it's not sizzling on your neck and burning your scalp, or burning your hair out, and you smell it. Stop it.
Like, y'all cooking? What y'all cooking? Nope, that's me getting my hair done. We ain't cooking nothing.
Yeah.
Not good memories of that.
Right. Yeah.
I think my moment, because like I said, unlike Tara, I went kind of back and forth between the relaxers, and after I had my son, my body had changed. Like everything was off, and my hair, and I was going through some things. And so I said, you know what, I didn't feel pretty. I just didn't feel good about myself. I had an afro at the time. I said, you know what, I'm over it. I'm going to get glammed up. So I did the relaxer again. And my hair was shaking, and it's shiny, and I was going to get it done, and I'm feeling good. 3 months down the road, my hair is falling out. And so I didn't know what to do. And one night I was so frustrated, I took the scissors and cut. But unlike you, I was like, oh no. I was like, oh my God. So I called we were friends at the time, and now we're mates, but I called him because he's a barber, and I said, I need you to come. I need you to come. He was like, what did you do? I said, oh, whatever it was. I was just a mess, kind of like what you went through. And he said, I'm coming to get you. We're going to the shop, and I'm going to hook you up. And that's the first time in a long time I had that afro back. And it was a baby afro. And when I said, baby, I got out that chair, he said, now we're going to go out. I want you to feel good. And I felt so beautiful again. He shaped it up. He kept it soft around the edges, And I was just like, yes. And so after that, it was over. It was over for me. The only other transition I did was the locks. Because I even got, because I wanted to keep that fro up. I wanted to have it, shaped up and all that. And then I got tired of that, and I just said, you know what? It's a wrap. I'm over it.
I wish it aha.
Yeah, mine is always going somewhere else.
I love that. I love that.
But I have two things. One is just being able to work out and not worry about my hair and having to run to the hair salon or whatever. Second is probably being able to sleep and not like sleep on my hands or my elbows and getting somewhere else with it. Just, you know, being with your significant other and you're like, don't touch my hair, I ain't playing. Like, don't touch my hair. Like, when you first get it done, like, things are just different. But, like, I'm not playing, don't touch it. Because you needed to be laid down the next day when you go to work. So, and just being natural, it's like, whatever. Yeah. I could fix it in the morning. So that was it. Just being able to work out and sweat and not have an issue, wash it and do it, and being able to like wash it as often as you want to, as opposed to waiting to go to the hair salon because I can't get those tight curls the way she did them. But that was it. And after that, I was like, I am good to go. I don't have to worry. My hair could be messed up and it's a style to me. That's it.
So talk to me about your afro versus when you went to braids. Did you have like, I'm keeping this?
Yeah, that's like I said, I always had the hair journey, but mine came from lack of knowledge of even how to grow my hair. So I had an afro about medium size, but it wasn't intentional. I wanted it to be longer. So my aha more so came when I figured out how to take care of my hair and get the growth. I always wanted hair in twisty styles because of expression. Like I said, I'm into the craft, into creative arts and music. So I feel like it gives me more of that edgy look, more of that look that I feel. So my confirmation came from, you know, I threw in the suit jacket, had my twist, you know, formal right here, kind of crazy right here.
Nice.
And that was probably the most likes on social media I've ever gotten in my life.
Oh, wow.
So I said, this is it.
This is it.
You can tell it showed your smile.
This is
showing your smile. You can see it.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. I love it. I like it. So what we are getting ready to do, we're getting to watch another video to start another dialogue. So you stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Blessing Ike, and I'm also happy to be here. I hope you guys are ready to learn because I talk a lot, and it'll be very informative. This is stuff that a lot of people did not know on how to grow your own hair. So the first topic we're going to talk about is porosity. There are two types of porosity. There's three types. High porosity, low porosity, and medium porosity. The first one we're going to talk about is high porosity. What high porosity hair is basically when the pores in your hair are open. So it's just like when you're washing your face and you put the hot water on your face, your pores open up. It's the same thing with your hair. High porosity hair is when your pores are naturally open all the time. So you will normally feel your hair dry most of the time or look a little coarse or, you know. So your hair obtains moisture very well, your pores are open, and your hair can be brittle and dry if it's not cared for correctly. The next porosity is low porosity. Low porosity are the strands of hair, low porosity is when your pores are closed. So your hair often will look shiny, or it would look, if you rub your hands down it, it'll feel real smooth. The problem with low porosity hair is that your pores are closed. So the way to open them to maintain moisture in low porosity hair is by using warm water. That will open up the pores in low porosity hair for you to be able to maintain moisture in low porosity hair. With high porosity hair, you would use cold water. The way you would figure out if your hair is low porosity or high porosity, you would place a strand of hair in water, and if your hair rises to the top, then your hair is low porosity. With high porosity, you will place a strand of hair in water, and if it sinks to the bottom, you are high porosity. If you put it in water and it stays in the middle, your hair is medium porosity, which means your hair is okay with obtaining moisture as well as not being so brittle and dry. The next topic we're going to be talking about are hair types. So there are a bunch of different hair types. It starts from 2A to 4C. A lot of African American people are in the category of 4, which is super tight, coily hair, to just kind of like curly, normal curls. So as I said, African American people, black people, they're more likely to have 4 type hair. This is when your hair is curly, really tight coils, to just loose. The way to find out if you're 4A, 4B, and 4C is to do the same thing, I would say. Put your hair in water and take it out, see how curly it is. And you can compare it to a diagram. So yeah, hopefully that helped you learn something. Yeah, thank you.
But it's good to know, because I had no clue what the different types of hair are, because when I started looking for products, the types of hair matter. And one of the things that I learned, even with sitting and talking with Tasia when we were talking about the show, and we think, everybody, you can look at somebody's video and do exactly what they do. But if you don't have the same type of hair, your hair may have the same pattern, but is it high porosity? Is it low porosity? That depends on changes the type of products you can use. Whether you use an oil-based product, whether you use a water-based product, it depends on your type of hair. So even when I was talking, I was like, "Listen, Eco Gel saved my life."
Yes.
I'm just saying, because it had me looking human. Some days I'm like, what is this going on? But as I was learning my hair, what to do with my hair, how to treat my hair, what products, Eco was one of my go-tos. And she was like, she couldn't use it because it dries her hair out. So that's why we have to be careful when we want to, put something in the hair Bible and say, oh no, this is what you got to use. Everybody's hair is different especially what she just stated about the porosity, whether you need more condition type, oil-based, or more water-based, depending on your hair type. So you got to know what type of hair you are so that you'll know what type of products you need to use. And we're going to talk about products later in the show. We got special guests going to talk about some hair products. I'm not going to give it all away. But we're going to have this question, and then we're going to take a break. So ladies and gentlemen, with the video we just saw with the doll babies, and how the African American children were seeing and how they felt regarding the difference of the white doll baby versus the black doll baby. Let's talk about some of the things that we can do to change that struggle, because we're still struggling today with being comfortable in our skin, being comfortable with wearing our hair naturally. So what are some thoughts or things that we can do now to encourage, promote, or some things we can stop doing? Because some things we just need to stop doing. Telling people that, you got to get a perm. Your hair is just, there's no hope for that. Yeah. So you got to, it's some hope. You got to have hope. So let's talk about what are some things we need to do or things we need to stop doing so that we can get rid of that mindset that our hair is not good or our skin color is a problem.
Okay. So.
That's a heavy one, right? I know. She's like, I gotta keep it clean, because listen, I heard a priest.
Yeah, so I have a couple stories. So I have the neighborhood I currently live, we are around a lot of different nationalities. And one friend, she's Jewish, and she comes over to play with my daughter Intisar. And Intisar has about 45 dolls, and 44 of them are black dolls. And she has one, that represents her friend or friends that come over, because I want to, have some diversity. So when the Caucasian friend comes over, she was like, oh, wow, you have a lot of, brown dolls. And I was like, well, why shouldn't she? that's who she is, that's who she represents. We're not going to have a whole lot of dolls that represent you, but we're going to have some representation of you here, sweetie, because you come over. You know, and I said, what dolls do you have? Well, I have one brown doll. See, exactly. So you guys have your representation, and we have ours. So when you guys play with each other, you can still have your own representation. So I consciously, I make an effort to make sure, that my daughter understands that her dark, beautiful brown skin is just that. And every morning, and this is something that we said we were going to start sharing with other parents with little girls, is, we have a greeting, good morning, beautiful baby. Every morning, since I brought her from the hospital, good morning, beautiful baby. Good morning, beautiful baby. And when she started talking back, she started saying naturally, good morning, beautiful mommy. Aww. I didn't tell her to say that. She just keeps hearing good morning, beautiful baby. So, she just started greeting me back, good morning, beautiful mommy. So I made an effort because I've seen that study, and not just seen the study, but I know from younger days, well, when we talk about what do, people in the black cultures do to each other, lighter skin, you're cute to be black, your nappy head. Yeah, we got all that. We understand where that, most of us understand where it comes from, some don't. And that's a whole nother conversation. But I made a conscious effort to make sure that she's aware of her greatness and her blackness is beautiful amongst her Indian friends, her Spanish friends, her Caucasian friends. She understands that, oh, I'm beautiful too. So I thought that was very important, to make sure that she doesn't, differentiate certain things. She understands. I have my brown sisters and I have my not brown sisters, because I want her to understand it's okay to see color. Some adults I hear say, oh, I don't see color. I love everyone. I want you to see my baby's color. I need you to see her color. I need her to see her color. So that's what we've been teaching her. And I've again, any woman, whoever want to hear anything that I have to say about our culture and our freedom and our beauty, I'll teach. I'll share my lessons. But her in particular, I make sure that she is surrounded by black greatness. And again, we're around a whole lot of nationalities, which which again, we talk about her learning different languages and things like that from our neighbors. But ultimately, she knows that she's beautiful among all these other races. So that's important to me. So when she sees that doll, she goes and plays with different dolls, and she'll pick a brown doll because the brown doll looks like her and she thinks the brown doll is beautiful. So that has been a goal of mine, and I wish that a whole lot of other people would do that. They buy these Caucasian dolls, or say what it is, and you wonder why your black children relate more to the Caucasian doll, because you keep giving them Caucasian dolls. It's not saying that you can't give them, unite a little diversity and love in everybody, but they should not have more dolls that don't represent them. They should have dolls they should have dolls that represent them so they can know their beauty is beauty. So that's my experience, and that's what I would share with people. Tell them, have that conversation.
That was good. That was good.
About her having a daughter, see, I got boys, so I never had that experience. Stacey got boys, so you got boys, so it was perfect.
For a girl,
you have to live it. I don't really have the experience of saying, a girl, I need to remind you that you're beautiful, regardless. So, that's a tough one to follow, y'all. Anybody have any thoughts? Because that's a tough one, because she actually has the experience. I don't have that experience.
Well, I will say, I think that was interesting that you all added that particular video with the hair topic, because as I was watching it, I'm thinking, our black experience, a lot of times you can't even separate the two between colorism and like race. It's like, we're dealing with all these different layers of issues. And, of course, being a little black girl, I had the same thing. And I had an uncle. I knew I was the chocolate one, and that wasn't always celebrated in that way. But when it was like on 100, and I had an uncle, and I didn't know how to take it, because I didn't feel as though, it's funny when you said, I see you, when you mentioned that earlier, I didn't feel as though I was seen, really, in my family. And it was nothing ever really negative, like outright said. And my mom, we didn't even get into, my mom loved all of our colors, so we didn't even get into those topics. It was other family members are going outside of the home, and then that's when you begin to experience that. But let me just fast forward. I think let me tell the story about my uncle though. He used to go, Black beauty, like Black beauty, yes. And so it would go from not being seen to, what? Like, and I didn't know how to take it, so I would be embarrassed, but really, he looked at me like, good morning, beautiful baby. He saw me like that. So I couldn't really embrace it until after I got older, and him and I would laugh about it, but he was like, no, you was my black baby. I wanted everybody to see you. You know, so I held on to that, and the love my mother had for all of her children, all of our complexions. You know, I had to hold on to that. So getting down to what Tara said, I'm not wrapping this up. It's all about the teaching and the loving, and even the little Caucasian girl that came over, that was a teaching moment for her. You know, she may not get that from anywhere else, so we have to teach these things. We have to teach when it's being, they can receive it anyway. Mm-hmm. We have to teach from the time that they are children, and we have to teach our children to love themselves, because this is what we're dealing with. So thank you for that. That's going to keep me even mindful about when I have opportunities, even if a child says something out of turn, or they may not even be around black people that much. So we have to use those opportunities to teach them while they're young.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big. Again, I know on this side he's a boy, got boys. So I'm like, okay, all right, Tara, we gonna do better. But I love it. Thank you. Any other thoughts before we move forward? But
I think with the color thing for me, with my boys, honestly, I never focused on color. It was really, really about their relationship with God. And I tried to instill that really, I did say God dreams in color. Like if you look around, everything that is around us is color. Mm-hmm. Like he's trying to show us, like you guys are just so, your thinking is so minute that you can't even look around and see I dream in color. Mm-hmm. And when I always thought about racism, I'm like, that people own black dogs, they get black fish, they got black cats, like brown. You want all these colorful animals, but you see a person and you think something's wrong. Like that always was pretty funny to me. Yeah. You know, it was real. You in all black sand, you know, in Hawaii. Like you're like, wow, black sand. Like you love all these other things, but you look.
It's a problem.
Right. So what I really, really tried to do with my kids is teach them who they are in God, and to live on purpose. And because and I have 3 boys, and you know, we started out in Newark, New Jersey, and then we came down to the Burlington County area. So that's a culture shock, because we were around predominantly 90% African Americans, and now we're around 2% African Americans. Wow. But they were so focused on, I got to play basketball, I want to do this. So they were so focused on their purpose that it was kind of hard for them to see otherwise. They had some issues, you know, where they like, wow, I think this is happening. Then after a while they're like, well, I got to play basketball and I got to do this and I got to do that. But it was really about who they were in Christ, and just trying to instill that, and just letting them know that, you know, there are evil people in the world, there's classism, sexism, racism, all the isms, but just know who you are in Christ, and then you'll be fine. So that's how I did it.
I'm pretty much placed in a different situation, because I have a daughter who's mixed. She's mixed.
I didn't either. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm black, and her mother is black and white. So she sees a little bit of both sides. So only thing I do is I lead by example, to let her know that all black men, for being specific, aren't criminals. We can be gentlemen, we can be intelligent, and we can work hard. Same as you, I teach her to love everybody and not hate anyone. But more than anything, I pay attention to media with her, because media is what they absorb most, and how they, you know, their perception of everything. So even if something's on media, I will explain to her, watch out for that. You know what I mean? That's pretty much that media, because I feel like media is the biggest thing.
That's a big one.
And leading by example.
It's important.
Leading by example.
That's major.
You're so sweet. He ain't interrupt me. He's like, I got a daughter. He could could have been like, wait, slow down, I gotta do it. He was so sweet. He said, I'm gonna have my turn. I'll tell you. All right, y'all, we're gonna actually get ready for another video, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we just watched a video about touching hair. So we are going to have a conversation. So let's think about a time, or you want to share something about maybe somebody else's experience where you had someone touch your hair, or you saw someone inquiring about touching someone's hair. So let's talk about that. What's your thoughts about it? Do we think it's okay? Should we be comfortable? Should we just let it happen and just entertain it? Or let's talk about it.
I have a couple of stories. I'll keep it brief. So at my undergrad, I went to IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, Punxsutawney campus. They got the Tara Joneses mixed up. So I was the only African American on this campus, like the whole campus. And to my knowledge, I'm from down here, so I'm like, everybody you saw, black people, white people, Indian people, like you see everybody. Not so. A lot of them, I was the first African American that they saw like in person, live, like a real live black person. So they were like, oh my God. Like they wanted to touch my skin, they wanted to touch my hair, because they had no clue. All they saw was, cops. So that was their thought of us. And luckily I got good grades, I was smart and all that, so I could, kind of downplay some of their nonsense ideas, but I was it for them. So I had the moment to say, get off me, don't touch me, or here's how we are, here's what it looks like, here's. And I chose for that to be a teaching moment. Wow. I chose for that to be a teaching moment because I was like, oh my God, I've never been in a situation where I represent, all my people. So it was just like, oh yeah, you not touch my skin, okay, come on. And they were really genuinely like, oh my goodness. And I was like, oh my goodness. But it was an experiment for me, to be in that situation. And I was just like, wow. And it was funny, I laughed because one semester I came, I had my real hair. And next semester I came, I had braids, but they kind of like thought my hair just stretched out. Yeah, okay, y'all can still touch it, whatever. And that was that wasn't my hair, right? So I laugh now because I didn't have long hair then, but they still was like, oh my gosh, just y'all can do so much with your hair. I'm like, yeah, so that was an experience for me that I was like, okay. But then you have those people in the supermarket, right? And it's just like, how long did it take you for the hair? And I'm like,
for the hair.
What do you mean, how long did it take me for my hair? How long did it take you to wash your hair? And that's because automatically people think this is not my hair. That's the first thing. And just like her, I've just asked for my girlfriend to print me some shirts that says, this is my real hair. Because a lot of people are just like, oh my God, that can't be. It's like, yes, it can be. Wow. It can be, and it is. So those, and then you have those type of people, and I'm just like, don't touch, get back. Like, I'm like, you can't just come and touch people's hair.
Exactly.
But they do, they're just like, oh. And that's all cultures and people. So it's not just one, like, and but then you have a 13-year-old girl that I'm talking to, and she walks up to me and she's just like, oh, Miss Tara, is that all, and she's like this. It's more than one, I'm just saying she for now. Like this, and I said, yes. They were like, can you get my hair like that? It's not up to me.
Yeah.
It's up to your mom. I can't lock your hair. I can't do things to your hair. But that type of touch I embrace because we think that these girls want X, Y, and Z, but they want only what I believe their parents will allow them to get and what they think they can get. Because when I was younger, again, we talked briefly about the Jerry curls. have mercy. The relaxers, you know, those kind of things, the straightening comb, because that's what we knew. So when I met Kiara, and we'll talk about her product later, I was like, yes, we need more of our people, having this information, having these products, because, and I always think maybe I would not have locked if I had products that could detangle my hair a little bit better. So for me, I don't mind those girls touching my hair because they're just like, I can get my hair like that?
Yeah.
Really? Like, I don't have to wear these braids? No, you don't. You can actually have your hair like this. So for me, I would love to get more information to our younger people so that they will know that this could be, if you wanted long hair like this, short hair is great. But if you want long hair, you can have long hair too, because I don't know how long this is going to stay. I'm ready to chop it off. So, but we'll see. I love, those are my 3 different types of experiences. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of it. Well, no, not the all white school. Certain things we built for, certain things we not. I don't know if I would have been ready for that, but you handled it well. We never talked about that.
Which one?
Really? You going to school?
It's in my book.
We'll talk more later. I kind of remember that now.
Man, it's like I read that.
I did read. Not as all. I don't think as frequently, but it has happened. And I have asked people to not do that. But if they ask, I typically would say yeah. It's just about having permission, them allowing you to give permission to touch you. And I was the same way, when I was with child, it was the same kind of thing. She mentioned it in the video. It was just like, just don't walk up and touch people. And I think most people don't mean any harm, but it's just teaching them how to treat you. But yeah, Tara pretty much touched on it.
Exactly. So especially, I know the locks. I know that people are like, okay, how
They're
does
infatuated.
it feel?
Yeah, that too.
As soon as she turned her head, I'm gonna.
No, I don't
You get stalkers like
touching.
I'm not gonna look. Just don't touch. Like, come on, back up.
Just start touching.
As far, I know you're gonna give us another spin.
No, I don't have another spin. No, that one I don't have another spin. But when I was in the military, I was 19 years old, and when I went away, and it was predominantly like white females in our Bay Area. And I remember the first time this white female, I think she was from Rhode Island, but she was just like, wow, like looking at us. And she asked if she could touch our skin, and then if she could touch our hair. But the most interesting part is when you're in the military, you take a shower. Everybody takes a shower in this one room. So we're just taking a shower. And she's like, oh my goodness, you guys are black in the middle too? And I'm like, you thought we were white from the neck down? And she couldn't believe it. She was like, wow, like, it was so awkward. I was like, okay, we need to turn this water off. but that, I mean, for the whole, we ended up being like very, very good friends because she was so inquisitive at night. She had so many questions, so many questions. We were up all night, but for her to, can I touch? Wow. And if my friend Tara's watching, or she's gonna watch this, she's gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember that. But she wanted, and so I talked earlier about saying I had to put a perm in my hair, and she was the one to give me the rods. And I was like, no, we try to get our hair straight. We're not trying to curl it up. But yeah, she was just like, wow, she was at all that. We were just black all the way down.
Black in the middle too.
Wow. So that was, and it's a wild moment for me to hear that. It's a wild moment for them. Did that make sense? Like, I'm like, really? Are we that? I guess we're that deep. Yeah. But you know, when people they don't grow up around it, or it's all new to them. So wow.
Yeah.
And another thing that I think is interesting is, like, I grew up in a predominantly, I'll say 90% black community, but we're used to having people of other ethnicities because they're the teachers, the cops, the judges, the business owners, everything. So we always see.
Yeah.
But then it's interesting how they don't see us. It's like a whole lifetime.
Yes,
wow.
interesting.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You blank in you got color in the middle too.
Wow.
Wow. That is interesting.
I know, we're all like,
That's a new one for me as well. All right.
We'll be taking a shot.
You said awkward? Yeah, awkward. Yeah.
You want to share, Lavar?
Lavar, look at his face was like,
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, honestly, I've never been in that situation. Maybe my hair isn't as intriguing enough. No, but the closest I've been in that situation is just getting complimented on just the black people as a whole by an Asian, like one of my roommates in college, an Asian friend. He just wished he had more melanin, black features, but no, never to the area of wanting to touch or asking to touch. But I can honestly imagine that being exciting, just like she said, like they're intrigued by you. You're fascinating. We know we're fascinating, so it's like show it all.
We are.
you know what I was thinking about? The petting zoos. When they had the kids so when I think about somebody wanting to touch me, I just think about they had the kids like walking around and people used to pet them, and so I think about that and I feel some kind of way. I didn't learn it until after I was 19. I think if I had known that prior to, I'd be like, what you think? We back in the, But I get those images. Like as soon as you started talking, I saw that little girl. You know the image that floats around with the little girl, and you got all the crowd around her. So as you said that, I'm like, oh, yeah.
The young man that they would have carry around the monkey. And he would be in the case. So that's the thing too that people are not conscious of. And it's interesting because I never really had anybody want to touch my hair, but when I had braids, I would have people want to touch them. And it's like sometimes it's like, what? But then again, it just depends on how their energy. Like if they're really
that's key.
Want to know, or And
that's the thing. When I had my afro, people wanted to touch my afro. Like everybody wanted to touch my afro, which was crazy too. But it was an afro. So I think people are intrigued. Like I think it's the whole style of you though. A lot of times people just like, and it's something about your energy as well. You attract different energies. But again, I try and stay positive. So only allow positive energies to touch. When I think is a genuine person, like really. Wanting to know, then it's cool. But if you bring in something else, it's just like, you need to back up.
And I think that's what it is when you brought it back to the petting zoo kind of thing.
Like
it's all about the energy. It's all, and so you kind of know, you can sense. I love when the children do it though. I do. I love when the girls do it. But there is a different, because it could be almost the same scenario, but something's not. You have to go, someone goes to hug you and it just doesn't feel right. And you could be a hugger. Right? And then all of a sudden, so you just know, I'm good.
That's why I'm glad the fist pump is a thing now.
The kid and play. You stay right there. Bam. All right. See you later.
A little kid and play.
Listen, that's all you get. You out of my 6 feet. Let me come to you.
No, that's good stuff. That's
and this is good conversation because it's still happening. And it's unfortunate that people like, oh, that's not a thing. No, you haven't experienced it. You can't tell me there's no such thing as cheesecake just because you didn't have it. Duh. When you tell a little girl ain't no such thing as unicorns, you gonna be in trouble. She believes in unicorns. That's because unicorns is a thing now. That whole unicorn party and all of that stuff. So it's like if you just because you haven't experienced it, don't negate the experiences that we've been through. True. So it's kind of interesting how some people's like, get over that. Don't get past that. How can you get past something that you're dealing with right now? For it to be the past, it has to be in the past. Right. But if I'm dealing with it now, it can't be the past. Exactly. So we got to understand that and be understanding. Unfortunately, we have to have these conversations because it seems like people are coming out and they're not coming out for the better. They're coming out and they're coming out with just evil. I'm gonna say evil in their hearts, and they just I just don't get that. I feel sorry for anybody who's racist. Because you're saying you don't like me, you don't know me, you don't know what I have to offer, you don't know what I bring to the table, but you don't like me because the color of my skin. That something's wrong on the inside of you to say, I hate you. Because basically that's what that is. I hate you just because of the color of your skin and I don't know you. I love meeting new people. I'm like, what am I going to learn from them? What am I'm like, I'm not a cooker, but if you cook some Indian food and you Indian, invite me over. I want to know what is, I like things like that, learning new things from people that didn't grow up in my area. And I just think that's interesting time in my life when I can learn something new from somebody that doesn't look like me. So for somebody to just cut that out of their life, I'm like, you gotta be miserable.
They're missing out on so much.
much.
But I just wanted to add, you want to see a picture of their kitchen first before you start taking food from them.
What kind of spices you using?
I need to see the kitchen.
I love that sense of humor. Oh.
Yeah, I need to see the kitchen. That's what
What kind of spices you got in your cabinet? If it's just pepper and salt, I don't know.
You got to see what the cat at.
Let's see what you got first. Let's see what you got first. Okay? Yes.
Well, I thank you guys for being on this panel. This has been good conversation, real conversation from our hearts. And it is time to have our guests, our keynote speaker, and yes, I said keynote, it ain't a graduation, but she's a key to what we're talking about and bringing another spin to it because she has a business called Grow and Flow.
Yes.
She is a businesswoman. She makes her own products and she has them in stores. You can go in a store and purchase her products. So I asked her to come and speak today and just share her story, share her experience, how she started her business, why she started it, and just kind of share her whole experience with us. And we got some of her products here. Everybody's going to be taking a product home on the panel today that came out today. So we're going to take this time. I'm going to move my chair back and let her have this space to come and just share a few minutes to just encourage us with her story.
All right.
Everybody, let's give Kiara. You can sit in the seat.
Hello, everybody.
We've been waiting for you.
It's on you now.
Hello. Nice to join you guys. My name is Kiara Morales, and I'm the CEO of Grow and Flow Hair Care product line. I am a businesswoman. I'm also a philanthropist. I do enjoy giving back not only money, but knowledge as well when I can. I'm a mompreneur. I have a 3-year-old named Nyla. She's also a business owner.
Oh, wow.
So Nyla's 3. She's actually the same age as Grow and Flow. I think Nyla was, I want to say 8 months maybe, or 7 months when I started Grow and Flow. So my 3rd anniversary was just June. That just passed, June of 2018. So like I created Grow and Flow because I wanted to provide products that promoted growth while also making the hair more manageable and soft. So I kind of wanted to eliminate the need for perms. Like we kind of touched on that. I feel like people resort to perms because they don't have any products to use. And I feel like they want a quick fix to their problems. So that's kind of why I created Grow and Flow. Like I said, they make the hair more manageable and soft while also promoting growth. But I wanted to also kind of share hair education and hair techniques along with my products because I feel like that's a piece that's lacking. A lot of hair companies, they give you the product, but then you don't know what to do with it after that, and that's why people resort to YouTube and things like that. So I just kind of wanted to solve that problem. I have like Mommy and Me workshops, and I share like Tuesday tips and things like that to kind of piece that part of the hair journey together.
Do you have a YouTube channel, or do you go live certain days? Or
So I don't do the whole public speaking thing. So it's like YouTube is not really my lane. I kind of prefer to like write and blogs and things like that. So I have blogs on my website that, you know, where I kind of give more information and education and stuff like that.
Okay, that's good. It's good to know.
Do you train other women in the field to understand it, to promote your product?
Yes. So I do have brand ambassador programs where I train hairstylists on how to use my products. We do like monthly trainings. We haven't done them in a while, but like I have a group now for my brand ambassador specifically where I share information and things like that. But a lot of times it's more like a personal relationship, so they'll inbox me and we'll kind of go back and forth like that. I work directly with like anybody that wants to promote my products, also like make income. So that's like another part of Growing Flow is I support the idea of female entrepreneurship. So I'm like big on that collaboration over competition. So I do have a website. It's www.growandflowhair.com, just all spelled out. My Instagram is Grow and Flow Hair. That's also my Facebook business page. I don't know if like anybody is local, but I do like go to Cowtown and sell my products as well.
Oh, you in Cowtown?
Yeah, I go to Cowtown. I'll probably be there next Saturday.
Okay. Local stores here?
Oh yes, it's also sold in stores. We left that part out, so it's sold in I think 4 stores in this area. So Save and Plus, Icon Beauty, Crazy Hair, the Eagle Save Mart. That was the first store that I got into. What else? It's also sold in hair salons in different states. So, yeah.
That's good. That's quite impressive.
That's really good.
Yeah. I kind of market to women and cater to women just because that's the market for the most part. But everybody can use them. A lot of times once they're in the household, guys steal the products anyway.
Yes, my son.
So it's like, but they can really get their own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Good. He has a question.
If you're able to share, because a lot of people are big into the ingredients. How's the natural ingredients? Is it full of natural ingredients or?
Yeah, so my products are all natural. They're aloe vera juice based for the most part. And then like one of the featured ingredients is sunflower oil in all of my products. Very beneficial to the hair and skin. You can cook with it. Sunflower oil is like really good. But aloe vera juice is kind of the base. It has like rosemary infusion, a bunch of other like just natural oils, argan oil, avocado oil, things like that. So they're all natural, good quality ingredients. And I think I was saying that earlier, that it's really important that you be mindful of the type of ingredients that you're using in your hair and also the type of foods that you're putting into your body when you're trying to grow healthy hair. You can't just, eat a whole bunch of junk and think your hair is going to grow excessively. Like I personally, every day I drink a hair growth smoothie that I make, and it has like cilantro, parsley, cucumbers, an apple, orange, banana, Greek yogurt. It's on my page. Like I share tips.
Oh yeah, okay. On that page. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't make them and I don't sell them. Some people ask, but that would be too much. So I just,
All right. One day I was going to ask you some more questions.
Make them yourself. I do have 6 products. It's the Everything You Need kit for your healthy hair journey. I kind of don't get into the whole styling products thing, just your basic products that you need for healthy hair. It's kind of
Okay.
But you just brought up a good point too, like natural hair. Ever since a lot of black females decided to go natural, now all of these it's become a $1 billion industry. But we're trying to get away from perms and we think it's natural. But if we don't take a look at what's in the product, we could very well be putting those harmful chemicals back in our hair that we said we were trying to get away from.
There's a few lines. I think OGX was just like put out there that their ingredients were like very harmful and toxic. So I think it's just very important to screen the ingredients. For the most part, like if you can't pronounce a lot of the ingredients on there, I think that's a problem. So I feel like that's one of the ways you can kind of like tell. My products they do have preservatives in them, but they're natural preservatives. So they're not harmful, they're drying to the hair at all. And then like ingredients like alcohol, like that's a no. I think that shouldn't be in your hair at all. But a lot of products contain alcohol. So that's kind of one of the main ingredients you want to avoid at all costs is alcohol.
See, that was an important conversation as we're talking about going natural, because I remember it seemed like it was like a warring between people who are not natural and people who are natural, and they're like, oh, you say you're going natural, but you're putting this in your hair isn't totally natural because you're still putting products, or you wear makeup and you say you're natural. Just all types of stuff.
It's always something.
Yeah.
So like I feel like there's a lot of different definitions for natural. Like some people wouldn't consider my hair to be natural because I flat iron my hair.
Right.
But I consider this to be natural because I don't use perms.
Right.
And I use all
And
natural products.
it is.
Some people, think that only hair that doesn't have heat in it is natural.
Right.
Even like when I was more natural than this, like when I was doing protective styles like braids or like Bantu knot styles like that, I still blow dried my hair prior to doing the Bantu knots because I just like the way it came out. I feel like it was more refined curls as opposed to the like messy type of curls. It just was my personal preference of how I like to, style my hair. I just like my hair flat ironed. It's just my whole thing. But there are ways to protect your hair even when using heat, and you can still be natural in those ways. Like using a heat protectant, for one. My leave-in, it is also a heat protectant, as well as a leave-in conditioner.
And see, that's what I was saying earlier. Had I had those products over, I don't know how long, I don't feel like it. Had I had them before I started this, I don't think that I would have locked my hair. So even when women are coming to me saying, oh, locking your hair, and I tell them, take your time and explore all the protective styles and all this, do your research and find out what's best for you, because this may not necessarily be your answer.
Right.
Because even with this, we still need to we're talking about healthy hair again, and I've made a lot of mistakes, pulling and tugging, and the longer it gets, then it starts to thin out. Or if you're not eating well, this will go away, I'm telling you. So, stress, all those different things. So thank you for what you offer to women that they may not want to lock
conversation. Because we keep using the word protective styles, and Bless talked about it, but no, not Bless. I think you talked about it, I'm sorry. But talked about protective styles, and it was like, I think when we talk about protecting it should be the healthy part. We're talking about all these other things, but the healthy, right?
Absolutely. Like you're supposed to, even like when you have like braids like she has and things like that, you're supposed to protect your hair underneath the protective style. If you don't properly install a protective style, it's no longer protective, even if you're not using heat. It's just not a protective style. So I think that's like important too, like to protect your hair even in protective styles by continuing to apply hair growth oils and things like that while you have it in. But yeah, like my hair journey pretty much started in 2016. My hair was like really damaged. I was in college at the time, a sophomore, and that was when I pretty much first started playing in my hair. And so I was like flat ironing all the time, like not using a heat protectant. I wasn't sleeping with a scarf. What else was I doing? I was doing everything. I was dyeing my hair. I was doing a whole bunch of stuff to my hair, and it was like I just wasn't taking care of it, and then it was breaking off because of that. So it was at this point probably like shoulder length how I have it now, but my hair had always been really long, so that was the shortest it had ever been. And so at that time I decided to cut it chin length, and then from there, that's when I started like researching how to grow my hair back longer, but not longer, but healthier. And I also had like really bad dandruff at the time. I think it was like lack of water. A lot of people think dandruff is because of, it needs oil, but a lot of times you need water. Dandruff is a sign of dehydration. That's kind of when I started really researching.
Keep dropping the gems.
I'm telling you,
girl, come on,
we're gonna show the public speaking now. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Because now she just had to get
so that's when I kind of like started researching everything, and I would go to like Walmart every week. I was like on YouTube, and then they would recommend different hair products or techniques and stuff like that, and then I would go to Walmart and like buy all this stuff and then try it. So I tried so many hair products that it's crazy. That's how I know what ingredients to use in Growing Flow and stuff like that, because it was just like the products I was using, some of them were drying, claiming to be natural. Cantu is one. I know some people like Cantu, but I'm not a fan of it. It was super drying to the hair. It did the absolute opposite of the problems we were trying to solve.
I thought that was just me.
Wow, I thought it was just me.
Yeah, I thought it was me too. I think Ken too was like.
And Ken too. I don't want to like, but it's not black owned. So I think like it's important to be mindful of which hair product lines are black owned because they probably have your best interest in mind. And then, just making sure that they actually have the right ingredients and do what they're supposed to.
But that's
to
something
do.
in itself because they keep the black-owned companies. They're offering them money that they can't resist, and then they just buying them out.
Yeah.
And that's been a major issue.
I think that happened to Miss Jackie, Miss Jesse's.
It was
Jesse's
one.
or Jackie's.
I know which one you're talking about.
I think it's Miss Jackie's.
But then
I've never
it changed.
actually
The
tried
product
those products.
it changed. It changed.
Yeah, and that happens a lot of times. So I think it's important to, just stay on top of which products are black owned. Find a black owned product that you like and enjoy, and make sure that's what you need.
Here we go. We have it right here.
I started saying this is why we're going to promote you. This is why we're going to promote you. That's right.
Thank you. Come on, let's give her another hand. Thank you, Kiara. Thank you so much.
Love it. I love it.
I'm going to say this because I was excited. I know that I could purchase it directly from her, but I wanted to walk in the store
Yes.
and buy it. I'm like, you got that growing flow in here? I want everybody here. I'm purchasing that growing flow. He's like, it's up here at the counter. Okay, I'm going. Yeah, I want that growing flow. Come walk out like this.
I'm laughing.
I know that's
Laughing because that was me.
I was so excited.
That's about to be me.
I was
so
excited.
Yes.
Because
go in
I have
there.
women ask me about product all the time, and I say, I can suggest certain things, but it may not be for them.
Yeah.
So now I can say, and we met her, and I tried the product.
Man, we're gonna take selfies.
It's so awesome.
I was
Look at put on
so
my page.
happy. I went and posted it on Facebook. I was like, I got my growing flow. I was loud. You got growing flow. I heard y'all got growing flow in this store. I wanted to make sure everybody heard me when I said it because I was proud to be able to go into a store and purchase that product.
That's
So,
awesome.
y'all, hair ye.
That was a great way to bring it up.
Thank you all. This has been a pleasure. So we are going to get this locked and loaded, share it because I know a lot of people need to hear this conversation. So everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.